You won't believe the drama that went down at my wedding. Like, seriously? What kind of person does that? I'm Ashley, 29, and I swear, some people just thrive on chaos, especially when it's not their own life going up in flames. It all started, I guess, a while back. Years, really? Me and Chloe. She was my best friend. Since forever. We went through everything together. Awkward middle school phases. First crushes. Dumb high school mistakes. Even navigating our early 20s, trying to figure out what we were doing with our lives. We were inseparable. People used to call us a package deal, you know. Then there was Liam. Chloe's Liam. They started dating in college, and everyone thought they were, like, the perfect couple. He was steady, always there. Quiet, but in a good way. The kind of guy who'd remember your coffee order without you even asking. Me. I was always the loud one, the one who jumped into things head first. Sometimes without thinking. Chloe was more reserved. Thoughtful, opposites, I guess, but it worked for them. Or everyone thought it worked. I was always around them. Naturally. Third wheel extraordinaire. But I didn't mind. I loved Chloe. And Liam was just there. He was part of the furniture, part of the Chloe experience. I'd see them, laugh with them, give Chloe advice on whatever minor squabble they were having. Usually about him being too quiet, or her wanting him to be more spontaneous. Little stuff, standard relationship stuff. Except, somewhere along the line, things started to shift, subtly at first. I'd be hanging out with Chloe, and she'd complain about Liam. And then sometimes, she'd go quiet, like she wasn't telling me the whole truth. Or she'd say something really sharp about him, something that felt a little mean, like not just venting, but actual disdain. And Liam, when he was around, he'd just nod, or give this little half smile, like he was used to it, like he was invisible. I remember one time we were all at Chloe's apartment, just watching a movie. Chloe kept checking her phone, barely paying attention to the movie, or Liam. He tried to make conversation, something about his new job, and she just sort of waved her hand. Yeah, honey, that's great. Can you get me another drink? He just went and got it. No fuss. And I sat there, and for the first time, I actually noticed him, really noticed the way he looked at her, then looked away when she wasn't looking, like he was hoping for something, but expecting nothing. That's when it started, I guess. The noticing. Before, he was Chloe's boyfriend. Now, he was just Liam, a person, and he seemed sad. And Chloe, she was so focused on whatever was on her phone, or whatever drama she was cooking up with her work friends, that she didn't even see it. She was always so good at making herself the center of attention. You know, like, if you weren't talking about her, what were you even doing? She was always so good at pointing out everyone else's flaws. But if you even hinted at hers, forget about it. Total shutdown. Or she'd turn on the waterworks. Then you'd be the bad guy. Every single time. It was exhausting. Honestly, they broke up. Eventually, it wasn't some big, dramatic blow-up. At least not at first. Chloe just announced it one day, like she was talking about the weather. Oh, yeah, me and Liam, we're done, just like that. She made it sound like it was all his fault. Of course. He was too boring, too predictable, didn't challenge her enough. Typical Chloe. Always needing to be challenged, always needing more. More, but she never actually did anything herself. Just talked about it. She said he just didn't get her, like he was supposed to be a mind reader or something. Liam moved out of their place, and Chloe started posting all these single and thriving pictures, going out with different guys every other night. She was always posting the highlights, always making her life look perfect, even when it was falling apart. And if you weren't constantly liking her stuff or telling her how great she was, she'd get all prickly. It was like living in her personal reality show. I was there for her. Of course, best friend duties. Listen to her complain about Liam, about dating, about her job, about literally everything. She didn't seem to care how he was doing. Not one bit. He'll be fine, she'd say, waving her hand. He always lands on his feet. Probably found some other quiet little thing who thinks he's profound. She always had to have the last word. Always had to diminish someone else to make herself feel bigger. A few weeks later, I bumped into Liam, not at a bar or some trendy spot, just at the local grocery store, pushing a cart with like 3 items in it. He looked different, not in a bad way, just lighter, like a weight had been lifted. He seemed surprised to see me, too. We stood there, awkward for a second. Then he just said, "Hey, Ashley, how's it going?" And I don't know. I just started talking. Like, really talking about how things had been weird since they broke up, about Chloe. He just listened. He actually listened, not like Chloe, who'd just wait for her turn to talk or interrupt you to make it about herself. He asked me how I was really doing, and then he asked about Chloe, not in a I miss her way, but in a is she okay way? Like he still cared, even after all her complaints and dismissals. It made me feel something, I don't know what exactly, just different. We ended up getting coffee a few days later, just as friends. That's what I told myself. Anyway, he told me about his new place, about how he was trying out a new hobby, something with woodworking. And he talked about Chloe, but not in a blaming way. More like, I just didn't know how to make her happy, or I think she just needed something I couldn't give her. He was so reasonable, and I found myself telling him things I hadn't even told Chloe, about my own frustrations with my job, about feeling stuck, about wanting something different. He just got it. He didn't try to fix it, didn't offer unsolicited advice, just listened and offered a quiet, yeah, I get that. It became a thing, not like a date thing, just a secret coffee thing, or a secret walk in the park thing. He never brought up Chloe unless I did, and even then, he'd just nod and listen. He was so calm, so easy to be around. And I realized how much emotional energy I was constantly spending with Chloe, trying to keep her happy, trying to manage her moods, trying to make sure I didn't accidentally say the wrong thing and set her off. With Liam, it was just calm. One day, we were talking, and he said something about how Chloe always needed to be the main character, and how he always felt like a supporting role in her life. And it hit me, that's exactly how I felt sometimes with her too. Like I was just there to validate her, to be her cheering squad, to listen to her endless complaints and dramas. And the thought, just a flicker, crossed my mind. I wonder what it would be like to be the main character for once, with someone who actually sees me. The lines blurred. Gradually, we started spending more time together, not just coffee, dinners, movies, hiking, things Chloe would never have wanted to do. And it was easy, effortless. He made me laugh, a quiet, genuine laugh, not the forced, loud laugh I put on for Chloe's dramatic stories. He actually saw me, he'd remember little things I'd said weeks ago, bring them up, and ask follow-up questions. Chloe would forget what I told her 5 minutes ago if it wasn't directly related to her. And then, one night, after a really nice dinner, we were sitting in his car, just talking. And he looked at me, really looked at me, and leaned in. And I leaned in, and we kissed. It wasn't like a movie kiss. All fireworks and violins. It was soft, hesitant, and it felt right. And terrifying, because he was Chloe's ex, my best friend's ex, and I knew, deep down, this was going to be a problem, a huge problem. But in that moment, all I felt was this strange sense of peace, like I'd finally found a quiet corner in a world full of noise. We didn't tell Chloe. We couldn't, not yet. It was our secret, a delicious, dangerous secret. We met mostly at his place, or places where we wouldn't run into anyone we knew. I'd make up excuses to Chloe about being busy with work or family stuff. It was easy. At first, Chloe was always so self-absorbed. She barely noticed anyway. She'd just go on about her latest dating disaster, or how some guy had ghosted her, or how she was having a bad hair day. And I'd just nod and offer generic, comforting noises. Inside, my stomach would twist. Liam was amazing. He was everything Chloe said he wasn't, and everything I never knew I wanted. He was thoughtful, steady, kind. He never made me feel small or inadequate. He made me feel seen and loved. He encouraged my crazy ideas, listened to my rants, and always had my back. He never complained, never made me feel like I was a burden. He was just there for me, not for the Ashley who was Chloe's sidekick, but for Ashley, just Ashley. Months went by, months of sneaking around, of whispered phone calls, of stolen moments. The guilt was a constant hum in the background, but it was overshadowed by the sheer happiness I felt with Liam. He made me feel safe, like I could finally breathe. I started to wonder why Chloe got to have him first, why she wasted him, why she never appreciated him, and then I'd feel even worse for thinking it. Chloe, meanwhile, was still Chloe, still dating around, still complaining about men, still posting her curated life online. One day, she sent me a screenshot of some guy's awful dating profile. "Can you believe this creep?" she texted, and I typed back, gross. And then she sent another message. "Oh, by the way, I saw Liam the other day. He looked happy. What's up with that?" My heart stopped. I typed back, casual as I could. Oh, good for him, I guess. She replied, yeah, too happy for someone who was supposedly so heartbroken over me. Bet he's faking it. And that was Chloe. Always had to be the center of everyone's universe, even after they were out of her orbit. Always had to assume everything was about her. And if it wasn't, she'd make it about her. Liam and I decided we couldn't keep it a secret forever. It was getting too hard, too stressful. We were genuinely in love. We wanted to be open about it. He proposed, not in some grand, public way, but quietly, at his apartment, after a home-cooked meal, with a simple, beautiful ring. It felt right. It felt real. The conversation with Chloe, that was the hard part. I practiced it 1,000,000 times in my head. Chloe, I know this is going to sound crazy, but Liam and I, we're together. We're getting married. I imagined her reaction. The anger, the tears, the accusations. I braced myself. I called her. She picked up, sounding annoyed. What's up? I'm busy. Chloe. I started, my voice shaking a little. I have something to tell you. Something important. Spit it out. Ash, I don't have all day. Liam and I, we're together, and we're getting married? Silence. Dead silence. I could almost hear her brain short-circuiting. Then, a gasp. A long, drawn-out, dramatic gasp. What? You're kidding, right? This is some sick joke. Her voice was barely a whisper. Then it ratcheted up. Louder. Shriller. My ex-boyfriend. My best friend? You snake? How long has this been going on? I tried to explain. Tried to tell her how it happened. How we just fell for each other. How it wasn't planned. How things between her and Liam were already over. But she wasn't listening. She was just yelling. Accusing. Calling me every name in the book. You're a backstabbing witch. I can't believe this. After everything we've been through, you were my best friend. And you went behind my back with him. She kept bringing up behind my back. Like I had somehow orchestrated this entire thing to spite her. Like Liam was some prize to be won. And I had cheated to get him. It wasn't about him being happy. Or me being happy. It was about her. About how she felt betrayed. About how I had dared to do something that wasn't centered around her feelings. Chloe, he was your ex. You broke up with him. You said he was boring? I finally snapped. Tired of her self-pitying act. That just made her angrier. That doesn't matter. He was mine. And you knew how I felt about him. You were supposed to be on my side. The conversation ended with her hanging up on me, screaming that she never wanted to see me again. I tried to call her back, to apologize for hurting her, but she blocked my number. My texts went unanswered. She even unfriended me on every social media platform. Like I didn't exist anymore. Liam was supportive. Of course, he held me while I cried, told me it would be okay, that she'd come around, but a part of me knew she wouldn't. Chloe didn't forgive easily, especially when she felt personally wronged. And she always felt personally wronged. The wedding planning continued, but it was overshadowed by the black cloud of Chloe's anger. I missed her. I really did. Despite everything, she had been my best friend for so long, but I also felt a weird sense of relief. Like a constant burden had been lifted. I didn't have to walk on eggshells anymore. I didn't have to constantly validate her or manage her emotions. It was just me and Liam, and it was enough. The wedding day arrived. It was beautiful. We chose a small venue, nothing too fancy, just intimate and warm. Our families were there, a few close friends who understood the situation, who knew about Chloe's tendencies. I was nervous, but mostly excited. This was it. My new beginning? I walked down the aisle, Liam waiting for me, his eyes full of love. Everything felt perfect. The ceremony was short, sweet, and filled with genuine emotion. We exchanged our vows. We kissed. And we were officially married. Then came the reception. It was a relaxed affair. Dinner. Some dancing. Good music. I was chatting with Liam's aunt, laughing, feeling completely at peace. And then I heard a gasp. Not a happy gasp. A shocked one. I turned. And there, on a projector screen that was supposed to be showing a slideshow of our baby pictures, were screenshots. Screenshots of my texts to Chloe, talking about Liam when we were just getting to know each other, before anything serious. Screenshots of her complaining about Liam to me. And then, the worst ones. Pictures of Liam and me, taken from a distance, looking like we were sneaking around. Pictures of us kissing in his car, holding hands at the park. Pictures Chloe must have somehow dug up. God knows how. And there was a caption on the screen. Big, bold letters. A true friend betrays. My stomach dropped. My heart pounded. It was Chloe. It had to be. The room went silent. Everyone was staring at the screen. Then at me. My face burned. Liam rushed over, his face going pale. He grabbed my hand, his grip tight. What is this? He whispered, horrified. I could feel everyone's eyes on me. The whispers started. Low, confused, then judgmental. My new mother-in-law looked absolutely mortified. And then a voice. Chloe's voice. Loud. Clear, amplified by the sound system. She must have hooked up her phone or something to the speakers. Surprise! Everyone, she shrieked. Isn't this just precious? The happy couple? My best friend and my ex-boyfriend, sneaking around behind my back for months. While I poured my heart out to her about him, she was supposed to be my confidant. My sister. And all along, she was plotting to steal him. What a lovely story for a wedding. Wouldn't you agree? She wasn't even there in person. She was just a disembodied voice, a vengeful echo filling the room, poisoning the air. It was a pre-recorded message, mixed with the screenshots. She had planned this. She had orchestrated this humiliation. Liam looked shattered. He didn't say anything, just pulled me into him, like he was shielding me from the stares, from the venomous words. My eyes welled up, not from shame, but from pure, unadulterated rage. How dare she? How dare she ruin my wedding, my one day, with her petty, self-serving drama? She was so consumed by her own victimhood, she couldn't see anything beyond it. She never accepted any responsibility for anything. The DJ, bless his heart, quickly cut the projector and the sound. The room was silent again. But the damage was done. The beautiful, joyful atmosphere was shattered. People started murmuring, some leaving, others just awkwardly standing around. Our families looked absolutely horrified. Liam's dad stepped forward, his face grim. All right, everyone, let's just take a break. The reception will continue after we sort this out. But there was nothing to sort out. Chloe had made her statement. She had exacted her revenge. And she had done it in the most public, humiliating way possible. I barely remember the rest of the night. It was a blur of whispered apologies from family, sympathetic glances, and the lingering stink of betrayal. Liam tried to reassure me, told me he didn't care, that we were married. That's what mattered. But I saw the pain in his eyes. He hated that I had to go through that we had to go through that. Chloe, of course, posted about it online immediately after, boasting about her takedown, how she had exposed the traitors. She got a lot of validation from her circle of friends, who also thrived on drama and victim narratives. You go, girl, and she deserved it, filled her comments. It was disgusting. In the days, weeks, months that followed, our lives changed. The initial shock wore off, but the ripple effects were long-lasting. Chloe continued her crusade, spreading rumors, trying to turn everyone against me, against us. She tried to make it so I lost my job, constantly calling my workplace and making up stories. She went after Liam's family, too, trying to dig up dirt. It was exhausting, having her constantly try to sabotage our lives. But it was just Chloe being Chloe. But here's the thing. Her constant toxicity, her need to always be the victim, to always lash out and destroy. It started to catch up to her. After a while, even some of her friends started to get tired of her endless drama. They started to see how she twisted everything, how she was always the main character in her own tragedy, and everyone else was just there to serve her narrative. Her dating life, which she always boasted about online, became a revolving door. Guys would stick around for a few weeks, realize what they were dealing with, and then bail. And she'd blame them, of course. Always them, never herself. Her career started to unravel. She was always so focused on stirring the pot, on office politics, on making everyone else look bad, that she neglected her actual work. People at her job, the ones who initially sympathized with her betrayal story, slowly started to realize she was just a drama magnet, constantly creating problems where there weren't any. She got passed over for promotions. Then eventually, she was let go. Not for anything explicitly dramatic, but for poor performance and not being a team player, which anyone who knew her knew was code for she's a toxic nightmare. I heard through the grapevine, from a mutual acquaintance who still talked to her sometimes, that she was practically a hermit. No one wanted to hang out with her because she was just a constant downer, always complaining, always bitter. She'd achieved her victory at my wedding. But what did it get her? Solitude. She pushed everyone away with her constant need for drama, and her inability to ever be truly happy for anyone else, or to ever take responsibility for her own choices. She had achieved her goal of getting everyone's attention, but she had lost everything else in the process. Liam and I, we built our life slowly, deliberately. We moved to Houston. We bought a small house. We got a dog. He continued with his woodworking, turning it into a successful side business. I found a new job, a better one, where I felt appreciated and respected. We still had our quiet coffee mornings, our long walks, our easy laughter. Our relationship was built on trust, on mutual respect, on genuine affection. He was my rock, and I was his. Sometimes a flicker of that pain from the wedding day would resurface. A memory, a pang of regret for what was lost. But mostly, it was just peace. We were happy, genuinely, quietly happy. And that, I realized, was the biggest screw you I could ever give Chloe. Not through grand gestures or public humiliation, but just by living my best life with the man who truly saw me. And she was left with nothing but her bitterness, surrounded by the wreckage of her own choices. It was exactly what she deserved, and I didn't feel bad about it for a second.